It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon at the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories we're watching this Thursday, February 13. President Bongbong Marcos has appointed Vince Dizon as the new transportation chief effective February 21. He replaces Secretary Jaime Bautista, who reportedly resigned for health reasons. Dizon previously served as Bases Conversion and Development Authority chief and deputy implementer of Duterte's COVID-19 response. Former President Duterte will lead the proclamation of PDP Laban senatorial candidates this afternoon. The kickoff is ongoing at Club Filipino in San Juan City. The party's lineup includes re-electionist Senator Bongo and Bato de la Rosa and lawyers Jimmy Bondoc, Raul Lambino, and J.B. Hinlo. Also in the ticket are actor Philip Salvador, Congressman Rodante Marcoleta, and Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Meantime, senatorial candidate Dr. Willie Ong has officially withdrawn from the 2025 elections to focus on his health. He expressed his sincere gratitude to all those who supported him and prayed for his success. Last year, Ong disclosed that he had been diagnosed with sarcoma cancer. And the World Health Organization warns that the U.S. aid freeze is now disrupting HIV, polio, mpox, and bird flu response. The WHO says several clinics have now closed, health workers are on leave, and global vaccine development are facing delays. The Trump administration has earlier halted USAID operations, cutting funding for health programs in 50 countries. And joining us today, finally, Storycon's resident political pundit, Tito Raul Llamas, who is back from his emergency meeting yesterday. And he has this smile on his face that is a bit hard to decipher. But let's check the other smile from the other side of town, from the Philippine Star editor-in-chief, Ami Pamintuan, who received yesterday the Manila Overseas Press Club Award for the Philippine Star. And
congratulations! Ha?
Thank you, thank you.
Pakain ka naman
Happy
dyan.
Thursday.
Anong thank you?
Pakain ka naman dyan. Thank you na lang. Ano yun? Thank you na lang.
Dadala ko dyan ng ano ko, ng luto ko.
Pwede yun. Pwede yun. Oh.
Pwedeng may kasama ring lechon.
Pwede
yung
rin.
luto niya.
Oh.
No?
Alam mo naman kami, Ami, ano kami?
Makikichismis ako kay Ronald. Makikichismis ako. Baka may chismis.
Inunahan ka, no? Ano raw chismak mo?
Ako pa?
Yan
Putting on the spot, Inunahan ka eh.
Anong ginagawa ni Tony Lopez dyan?
MOPC.
Siya yung chairman ng MOPC, di ba?
Parang forever rin sa chairman ng MOPC.
MOPC.
Siya ba? Ayun yan, kasama ko sa Barsitarian alumni.
Talaga?
Mga editor siya ng mga Barsitarian.
Gusto ba siya?
Gusto yan dati. Unfortunately.
Okay. Ko talaga, buti na hindi ako stay. Kung yung sabi mo.
Okay yan. Pag kami speaker sa Barsitarian Reunion, nagbabanatan kami niyan.
Okay. Tito Ronald, are you at liberty to speak of your wheelings and dealings yesterday? My question is, are you at liberty or not? Because if you are not, then we will have to take that as it is.
Talaga, mom's the word. Mom's the word.
Diyan mo talaga makikita yung totoong operator eh. Talagang hindi mo pipiga basta-basta eh.
Ako hamak lang ako na pansit, political pansit.
Political pansit.
Sige, papadala ako dyan pansit. Pansit sisig.
Ang galing mo. Binali mo kagad kay Ami. Bumalik kay Ami.
Yung political.
Luto namin yun. Masarap yung pansit sisig namin.
Ayan, masarap yan. Alam, paborito ko yung pork leg pansit.
Ano?
Pork leg.
Pansit
Yung pata.
sisig.
Pata.
Pork leg.
Yun ang sahog.
Gumagawa ako nun.
Yun ang sahog
Pag
sa
sakit
pagkano
sa-
ng
ang sakit
Chinese
sa
New
batok
Year,
nun,
yun
Yun ang
yung
sahog.
Yung sotanghon with pork leg ako.
Sarap nun, yung pork leg.
Yun ang talagang sahog.
Chinese
Yung
New
tipong
Year.
malagkit-lagkit pa
Tapos haluan mo ng fried garlic at saka fried onions. Haluan mo.
Chinese New Year yung pork leg.
Sumasakit ang batok.
Sarap nun.
Usapan natin.
Ikli-ikli ng buhay, iniisip mo yung pagsakit ng batok. Talaga.
Kasama ng patatin ko, masarap yung patatin.
Yan. Paborito ko rin yan, patatim.
Ito naman si amin, puro press
Yan,
release eh.
kasabay nun.
Pampahaba ng buhay yan. Yan.
Miss Pamintuan, ang dami mo ng press release ha. Baka mamaya hindi matupad yung mga press
Sige,
release.
Napaka-
pag may okasyon dyan, pag may
Oh, pag
okasyon.
may okasyon, mag-among tayo ng okasyon.
Tingnan mo yung
Eh,
kulay.
wala naman kayo. Nagpunta ako dyan, wala naman kayo dyan.
Kasama pa natin
Hindi mo
yun.
naman sinabi eh. Kung sana nagpa-banda kami rito kung parating ka. May banda sana rito.
Tsaka may
Si Chairman
okasyon.
Garcia nandyan.
May okasyon precisely because the Star received the MOPC award.
Oo nga.
Oh.
Sige. Ayan, nawala tuloy ako.
Magpapakuan pa kami
Wala
rito.
Ang galing lumusot talaga.
Magpapa-lion dance kami rito.
Oh,
Lion
diba?
dance.
Wait, teka. Yung reporter natin, nakabang na pala. Naka-zoom already.
Si Merrimon,
our political reporter, Merrimon Reyes, is now at the Club Filipino for the PDP Laban Proclamation Rally, which is currently underway. Merrimon, what can you tell so far?
Magaling na speaker na si Congressman Martin.
Ayun, naririnig ko na yun. Merrimon,
Okay.
Sino yung nagsasalita?
Yes,
Nawala uli.
pinaka nagsasalita
Nawala uli.
kayo nagrepresenta naman na parang kay KOJC leader Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. At opisyal na nagsimula itong mga proclamation o kaya yung campaign kick-off ng PDP Laban dito sa San Juan. And later on, around 5 o'clock PM, inaasahan naman natin ang dating dito ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte para mag-opisyal na i-endorse itong Lucky 9 na sinasabi nila na senatorial state ng PDP Laban. Makakarinig tayo ng panayam mamaya mula kay Alapos Mayor Basilio Duterte. Pati rin na potentially aabangan din natin si Senator Robin Padilla kung ano rin
Merrimon,
pwedeng lumabas.
can I break quickly lang? Can I break quickly? You're wearing naman a headset, diba? That's a wired headset. Yung microphone ng headset mo, ilapit mo sa bibig para mas... Kasi kalaban mo yung audio ng nagsasalita sa likod eh.
Or lumabas siya muna.
O kaya lumabas ka ng konti o kaya ilapit mo yung microphone sa bibig mo. Yung may bahagi ng yan.
Hindi marinig.
Okay.
Ito
There you
kaya
go.
Sir Ed, bas okay na kaya yung audio natin.
I think so.
O, yan na, okay na.
Subukan natin. Sige, subukan natin. Go. Go. I think that's better.
So ngayon nagsasalita na dito yung mga nagrepresenta naman para kay KOJC leader Pastor Apollo Kibuloy at yung presensya nga ni anak kanyang legal counsel na si Attorney Estelito Torion ay nandirito na at nagsasalita na para i-representa nga si Kibuloy kahit na nagkaroon din ng sarili ng campaign campaign na kick-off itong si Kibuloy sa Pasig nitong February 11. Pero mamaya bandang alas 5 ng hapon na abangan naman natin pagdating dito ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte para opisyal na i-endorse yung sinasabi nilang Lucky 9 na senatorial slate ng PDP Laban. And makakarinig din tayo ng remarks hopefully mula kay Senator Robin Padilla pati kay Davao City Mayor Basilio Duterte. Titignan natin mamaya kung bukod doon sa pag-endorso ni Duterte sa kanilang senatorial slate ay magkakaroon din sila ng pagtugod o pagsagot mula doon sa mga nabanggit nga ni President Bongbong Marcos sa proclamation rally ng Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas nitong February 11 na nagsasabi nga yung admin na senatorial slate wala raw involvement o kinalaman pagdating sa war on drugs, pagdating daw sa pagpapalakpak sa bansang China kasabay ng initan sa West Philippine Sea. At may nasabi nga rin si Bongbong Marcos tungkol sa isang false prophet. Pero isa pa sa pinakasinasagot ngayon ng ilan sa mga nagsalita na dito mula sa PDP Laban ay yung pagsagot nila tungkol sa remarks na sinasabing mukha lang daw silang mga bumili ng suka. Kaya naman ay titingnan pa natin hanggang matapos itong Lucky 9 kung ano pa ba yung mga magiging panayam nila tungkol sa kabilang panig.
Merrimon, bakit Club Filipino ang pinili nilang launching site ng kanilang kampanya? Iba kasi ang simbolo ng Club Filipino. Balak ba nilang i-co-op yung simbolo na yan para dun sa kanilang pag-co-op ng opposition, ng sole
Ang
opposition?
nasabi sa atin kanina
Oo, talaga.
dito nung
Taga mo,
interview natin si Senator Bato de la Rosa, bahala na raw tayo na mag-interpret kung bakit dito sa Club Filipino sa San Juan na isinagawa ang campaign kick-off ng PDP Laban. Pero base sa ating mga sources at ilang mga nakausap, merong subtle na anti-Marcos na mensahe na maaaring dumating o makamacross dahil nga dito sa venue. Last, kasi tatandaan natin taong 1986, dito kasi ginanap yung inauguration ni President Corazon Cory Aquino.
Yes.
So sa ganyan na People Power Revolution. So may kinalaman itong lugar na to dito sa San Juan pagdating sa pagpapatalsik kay dating Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Pero yun nga, ang nasabi ni Senator De La Rosa, bahala na raw tayong mag-interpret kung bakit dito nila ginawa ang kanilang campaign kick-off.
Mukhang talagang bahala na tayo.
Merrimon, may balita ba kung dadating si Vice President Sara Duterte? Kasi parang nag-aalangan siya, no? Sabi niya hindi siya sigurado kung maganda na magkakampanya siya para dyan sa slate na yan.
Ami, she's
Or for
abroad
any-
ata. She's
Sa
abroad.
Japan, nasa Japan.
Yes, Miss Ami, so nakita rin natin kasi na may pinost sa social media na litrato itong si VP Sara Duterte kasama yung kanyang kapatid na si Kitty Duterte na mukhang overseas. Kaya hindi natin sigurado kung magkakaroon pa ba ng oras na bumiyahe pabalik dito sa Pilipinas itong si VP Sara Duterte o kung posible man ay magkaroon ng virtual na panayam mula sa kanya.
Meron, sundutin ko lang yung tanong ni Tito Ronald kanina na ano yung symbolism ng pagpaproclaim dyan sa Club Pilipino. Kasi, yung panahon ni Duterte, paulit-ulit na pinagtawanan, they made fun, the Duterte administration made fun of the EDSA 1986
Sorry sir,
revolt.
medyo napuputol-putol din
Oo,
yung
hindi ko kayo marinig actually.
Okay.
Sen.
Sige po. I'll do it again. Is it better now? Can you hear me
Hindi ko
now?
kayo marinig sa studio actually.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Kasi nung panahon ni Duterte, it was very clear that the Duterte forces were making fun of the 1986 EDSA revolt,
Including its symbols.
including the symbology of EDSA. I don't know if you recall, pero from 2016 to 2022, the Duterte forces pinagtatawanan ng EDSA. And they were making fun of it, basically. But now it appears that they are trying to use the symbols of EDSA, from the EDSA People Power, from calling for people power against Marcos, and now yung Club Filipino as a proclamation venue. So may konting irony doon, if that's even the word for it, na irony lang yan.
Baka hindi irony.
What word would you use for it?
Iron lang. Matigas.
So yun, I know what you're saying, sabi ni Bato, bahala kayong mag-interpret niyan. Pero I think we also would want to get a clear statement from the PDP Laban. What exactly is their intent? Iba yung interpretation ng tao, iba yung intent ng nag-organize.
Baka hindi nila ibigay yung yung sagot sa tanong mo.
Baka lang sakali. Kasi you get the irony of it all. I mean, the last 6 years of Duterte versus yung now, parang using the symbols of EDSA.
Oh, may mga nakadilaw pa sa likod mo. Marymon, may mga nakadilaw. Oh. Kasama ba yan?
Hindi, upuan na tayo. Ano mo, upuan yun.
Ayun, nakatayo.
Kada grupo ng mga supporters ng miyembro ng Senatorial Slate ng PDP Laban, meron silang mga kanya-kanyang suot. Halimbawa, yung mga supporters kay OJC leader Pastor Apollo Kibuloy ay naka-violet. Yung para na, eto sila sa aking likuran. At yung ibang mga supporters naman para kay Sal Musicero at kay attorney Jimmy Bondoc, ang suot naman nila ay white and green. Tapos meron ding iba dito na nakasuot ng kulay dilaw. At kanya-kanya silang nagsusuporta o nagrepresenta dito sa senatorial slate of members. Pero isa sa pinaka-common na sinasabi nila, halimbawa kanina nagsalita dito si Senator Bato de la Rosa, hindi raw sapat na siya, tsaka si Senator re-electionist Bongo lang daw ang dapat iboto. Kung gusto raw nila na ma-resolve yung mga issue na may kinalaman sa Pilipinas, and even yung impeachment case ni VP Sara Duterte, inihikayat nga raw nila yung mga botante na iboto raw ng diretsyo ang PDP Laban.
Marymon, sino yung mga nakadilaw kaya? Kaninong grupo yon?
Mga nakakulay, baka yung reflection lang ng ilaw, Miss Ami, nakikita ninyo,
okay.
pero paramihan sa kanila mga nakakulay puti. Eto, naka-violet dito sa
White.
gilid.
White.
Okay.
okay,
Tapos, meron mo,
okay.
yung mga nagsalita na, I suppose may mga nagsalita na Si Torion kanina was talking already si Attorney Torion. Sa mga nagsalita na, wala bang nag-respond doon sa mga bakbak ng Pangulong Marcos nung isang gabi against the slate of PDP Laban? Kasi kanina you were mentioning that we're waiting for word from the candidates Pero wala bang nagbitaw ng kahit anong salita so far from them?
Sorry, Sir Ed, medyo naputol. Nagbitaw ng salita laban saan?
Wala bang nagbitaw ng reaksyon from the PDP Laban candidates doon sa sinabi ng Pangulong Marcos sa Ilocos kung saan binakbakan sila? Apparently sila binabakbakan.
Tokhang, COVID pandemic,
West Philippine Sea,
corruption, Parmali, West Philippine Sea. Medyo kompleto yun
Tsaka medyo maanghang yun It was, yun
Ayun,
pinakamaanghang.
parang nagre-react yun nagsasalita sa likod
Nung kanina, nung narinig natin at nakapanayam din natin si Senator Bato de la Rosa, nung natanong natin unang muna tungkol doon sa kanyang tukhang na estilo na pangangampanya, tinanong natin kung ano ba sa tingin niya yung posibleng maging reflection nito or interpretation sa mga tao, lalong-lalo na yung may mga kinalaman na kamag-anak na nabiktima nga ng EJK, kung insensitive ba raw itong mapakinggan. Pero ang sabi niya, hindi naman daw insensitive dahil ang oplan tukhang naman daw na isasagawa nila ay yung pagkatok daw sa pinto at yung pagpiplead para nga raw sila ay iboto. Pero kung hindi naman daw nila nararamdaman na natatanggapin daw sila ng kanilang kakatukin na household, aalis naman daw sila. Pero pagdating naman dun sa iba pang mga issue, hindi pa tayo kakakuha ng iba pang malinaw na panayam mula sa kanila. Kasi pagkatapos natin na makausap si Senator De La Rosa, nagsimula na agad yung pagsasalita isa-isa ng mga miyembro ng PDP Laban Senatorial State.
Marymon, kumusta yung crowd sa labas ng Club Filipino? Maliit lang yung lugar na yan eh. Doon sa labas ba may spillover?
Yes, Miss Ami. First come, first serve nga yung basis ng pag-uupo dito. Kaya kaninang 1 p.m. nung simula na magpapasok ng mga pupunta, marami ng tao at tinutulog na. Nagkaroon nga lang ng kaunting pahirapan kasi dahil marami ng tao naghihintay sa labas ng venue, nahirapan na rin na kahit paano doon sa registration booth. Kaya yung iba sa mga dito sa paligid natin halos mga nakatayo na. Pero doon sa likod na bahagi ng venue ay meron silang parang satellite na LED screens para makita ng mga tao sa likuran kung ano yung view dito mismo sa harapan. Pero kung titingnan nyo rin, ang setup nga dito ay parang kung ay kumpleto, may baso, may utensils, may nakasetup dito na coffee table o booth para makakuha daw ng kape ang mga bibisita. At tabayanan natin kung mamaya ba ay mayroong isa-serve na pagkain. Kasi technically, pwede itong matignan na posibleng paglabag nga doon sa election code na nagsasabing bawal ang magpakain. Lalong-lalo na ngayon na campaign period na.
Marymon, pwedeng humingi ng favor? Pwedeng humingi ng favor, Marymon? Pwede mo ko i-reserva ng isang silya? Dahil bala ko pumunta maya-maya dyan, no?
Talaga
Gusto kong
dala ka ng camera crew.
gusto ko mag-participate. Hindi, pakisabi lang na parating ako.
Marymon, sige, pero paki-announce dyan sa kanila na may parating na Ronald Llamas para abangan si Tito Ronald. Para may welcoming committee ba? Ikaw talaga. So, teka, Marymon, so ibig sabihin, walang food yan? Walang food? Did I get you right? Kape lang?
Sa ngayon, wala pang sinuserve na pagkain. Pero titignan natin maya-maya kasi ang sinuserve pa lang dito tulad dito sa aking likuran ay kape. Pero ang setup sa mga lamesa ay merong baso, meron ding utensils. So titignan natin kung maya-maya ba bago matapos ang proclamation rally ng PDP Laban ay meron bang isuserve na pagkain.
That'll be an interesting question. Is that a legal issue?
Yung mga posters, campaign posters sa labas, Marymon, kumusta? Kasi yung kahapon, yung sa Alyansa, punong-puno talaga ng poster, yung sa labas ng venue. Diyan, paano siya?
Miss Ami, sa labas, yung gate mismo nitong Club Filipino, meron din mga nakapaskil na tarpaulins. Pero nung sinilip ko yung katapat dito na mga establishmento, yung mall, hanggang doon papunta mismo sa Green Hills, so far, ang nakikita natin ng mga tarpaulin na nakakapit ay mga tarpaulin ni Senator Bato de la Rosa. Pero pagdating sa ibang mga miyembro ng senatorial slate na PDP Laban, nakapaskil din yung kanilang mga tarpaulin sa labas mismo nitong venue.
Okay, ano po? Si Marymon, pakawalan natin para makapagkawal na maigi.
Okay.
Ami, okay na?
Hintay pa natin siya na eh.
Oo. So, alas 5 pa, no? Si Tatay Lutz. Okay. Balitaan mo kami kagad kung may masayang mangyari. Maraming salamat. Ang ating mobile journalist na si
Thank
Marymon
you,
Reyes.
Marymon.
Salamat, Marymon.
From Club Filipino. The Historic Club Filipino. Talagang, ang ginamit kong word co-op, ikaw talaga.
Hindi, dahil sabi kasi ni Bam Aquino, hindi na sila oposisyon, sila independent. Kaya solo na ng mga Duterte yung oposisyon na salita.
I'd like to ask you about that. Bilang aming political pundit na residente, resident political pundit, how do you view that statement? On one hand, si Bam appears to have nagbitaw ng ilan ng mga controversial na kataga eh. Among them yung impeachment parang it's hindi tumatatak sa mga tao, hindi concern ng mga tao and sa mga politiko lamang. And this time sino opposition?
Tingin ko dahil nanganganib si Bam, hindi siya kasama sa lahat ng survey dun sa top 12, ay gusto niyang i-broaden yung kanyang potential voting base. no? Dahil perhaps ang tingin niya yung mga pink, yellow, etc. ay sa kanya na. So gusto niyang kumuha naman doon sa hindi kanya. Kaya yung mga statements niya, very controversial, ay targeted yung mga voting base, mga voting areas, voting bailiwicks na hindi traditionally ay yung kasama doon sa kanyang voting base. Tingin ko yun yung kanyang layunin.
Pero doesn't he risk alienating those who originally or earlier supported him?
Yes, may ganun risk. Pero ang tingin kasi niya, yung voting base niya ay hindi naman boboto sa iba. No? Ibig sabihin,
Bummer nating.
they will bite the bullet. No? Parang ganun. No? Ang tingin nila ay, kumpara doon sa ibang mga kandidato, hindi naman siya lilipat. Baka yun yung kanyang tingin.
Do you agree? Okay.
Oo nga, kasi kay Senator Amy Marcos, nag-backfire yan. Hindi na lumabas siya.
Oo.
Kaya eventually bumalik din sa
Kaya
administration.
eventually,
Tinaas pa yung kamay
sumali
ni,
dun sa
ni
alyansa.
Bongbong Marcos.
Sumali na siya.
So anong
Yes,
Meron
Mami,
uling rally
tinaas pa yung
mamaya.
kamay.
Hinihintay natin yun ngayong araw, 6:30 sa Iloilo.
Yung gusto-
Pupunta daw uli si Bongbong Marcos.
gusto ko makita yung expression ni Amy habang binabakbak ni President Bongbong yung mga Duterte.
I was wondering about that guy.
Yun ang maganda no?
Wala eh.
Habang nagsasalita yung kapatid niya, no? Lumalangoy sa dagat ng dugo, no? Mga traidor, no? Nagpapalakpakan habang winawater cannon ng ating mga Coast Guard, etc., etc. No? Mga corruption, no? etc., etc. Gusto ko makita sana noon kung yung mga reporter pinokus sa mukha ni Amy.
Kung meron bang cringe moments.
Yun yung headline, yun yung pang Philippine Star. Yun yung mga pang Philippine Star na mga...
Nakuha lang namin yung nakatayo na nakasabay-sabay na sila eh.
Yun yung maganda nun.
Pero Bok and Ami, tell me if I got this right. What I heard was that bumakbak muna si BBM at pagkatapos ng bakbak
Bago
ni BBM,
dumating.
nagtaasan ng kamay, si Ami went over to BBM and raised his hand. So, kung tama yung timeline na yun, apparently, go lang.
Kaya nga, kung nakita naman ni Amy na nagpa-fluctuate yung numbers niya. Minsan pasok sa 12, minsan labas, minsan nasa bingit. So to make sure na siya ay pasok, kinakailangan talaga niyang fill upan yung slot. Nasabi niya dati, yung slot sa admin, nasabi niya dati ay hindi niya kukunin. No? At yung huli nga niyang statement nung during the impeachment, na, di ba after ng impeachment, anong sabi ni Amy? Hanggang dulo, hindi niya iiwanan si Sara. No? Yun ang sabi niya. So, that's just a few days. No? After a few days, nandito na siya sa luwag. Tinataas yung kamay ng
A few days is a long time eh.
Then after a few days more, she's in Japan.
Pero mukhang hindi naman siya pupunta sa Club Pilipino
Baka pag nagpunta nga doon si BP, nasa abroad pala si BP, hindi natin alam.
Kaya
On a vacation.
pinapareserve yung upuan ko, baka sakaling pumunta si Amy.
In place of VP Sara.
Hindi, nasa Iloilo sila ngayon dahil yan sa team is in Iloilo. Titingnan din natin kung sasama doon si Amy.
Hindi, sumama na sa luwag Sumama na sa launching Malamang sumama rin yun.
Tsaka kasi yung talagang panonood ng mga tao, yung kick-off
Tsaka imamap din ni Amy, saan ba siya mahina? Saan ba siya malakas? No, igaganyan din niya yan, eventually.
Okay. Mga Bok. Sige Ami, go ahead.
Hindi, yung Iloilo traditionally dilaw yan, di ba?
Yeah.
Malakas ang yellow
Malakas yan,
dyan.
Kaya malamang pupunta dyan si Amy.
Titingnan natin kung ano yung reception sa alyansa.
Okay, mga Bok, we just need to go into a short break. You're watching Starcon on One News. We will come back in a little bit. We've got development news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon or the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao, and of course with us, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star and Tito Raul Llamas, our resident political pundit. We bring in our guest for today, Justice Undersecretary Jesse Andres. Sir, magandang hapon and thank you for joining us in Storycon.
Yes, good afternoon, Ed, and everyone else. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat.
Magandang hapon po.
Good
And
afternoon po.
Yusek.
Ana,
And thank you, sir, for joining us. We know you're very busy. Pero sir, of course, you know what,
Yes.
what the hot story of the day or the past few days has been, yung recommendation ng DOJ with regard to dun sa grave threats and sedition, inciting sedition case or complaint against sa Duterte. Sir, could you run us through, especially for those who are not familiar with the law, ano yung proseso niyan from the recommendation ng NBI and going down the line? Saan siya dadaan at anong timeline?
Yes. First of all, let me say that we are treating this case like any other case, and that this will be treated consistent with the justice reform programs of the department. It comes at a very curious time where we have so many reform programs being implemented to protect human rights and to protect constitutional rights. So if I may be allowed to say, your next questions might be answered by these reform
Yes, sir.
programs. There are two major reform programs, and we refer to it as addressing court congestion and addressing jail congestion and ensuring the primacy of human rights. So let me state that first. So right now, the National Bureau of Investigation has forwarded to the Department of Justice their investigation report. After months of investigation, authentication of certain evidence, they have finally forwarded their investigation report to the DOJ, and it will undergo what we call our initial evaluation and eventually preliminary
PI.
investigation. So let me just make a distinction. It is not yet in the preliminary investigation stage. It is at the initial evaluation first. So what do I mean by that? Under our new Department Circular number 20, we refer to as the case build-up policy. At this point, the Department of Justice, through the prosecutors, may still enhance the evidence by asking our layas to gather more evidence. Because under the present Department Circular, as allowed by the Supreme Court, the DOJ was allowed to craft preliminary investigation rules of procedure. There is now a higher threshold of evidence before a case can be filed in court. I wanted to explain that at the outset,
Yes, sir.
because previously the measure was only probable cause. So many cases are filed before the courts, even with a minimal amount of evidence, and our court dockets are congested because of weak cases that are filed in court that are going nowhere. So it is only this administration which has put attention to this matter. And in order to address that court congestion, we have to await the completion of the securing of evidence before we can file a case in court. And the threshold now is higher. It is not probable cause. It is what we call now prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction, meaning that all the elements of the offense or crime charge, the evidence supporting the elements, is already at hand in the possession of the law enforcement agents and the prosecutors, and presenting this evidence in court will engender a reasonable certainty that it will lead to a court conviction. So yan po ay ginagawa natin para po mabigyan ng importansya ang human rights. Dahil ang tao pong mademanda, posible pong mawala ng kalayaan dahil po pag hindi siya makapagpiyansa, he will be unduly deprived of liberty. And now, the constitutional presumption of innocence applies. The burden to prove the guilt of any respondent or accused is on the law enforcement agents and the prosecutors. Hindi ho tayo pwede mag-file ng kaso na walang ebidensya. So yun po ang mangyayari sa preliminary investigation. Iko-consider po natin ang ebidensya na inihain ng National Bureau of Investigation, plus the respondent will be given a chance to present her defense, her counter-statement of facts through her own counter-affidavit. Yan po yung tinatawag natin na due process of law, the opportunity to be heard. Hindi ho tayo magdidesisyon na hindi napapakinggan ang panig po ng ating respondent, ang vice presidente, at kahit hindi po siya nakapagbigay ng counter affidavit nung NBI stage ng investigation, bibigyan po natin siya ulit ng pagkakataon na maghain ng kanyang counter affidavit, supporting witnesses, any kind of evidence that she would like to submit in her defense. At part 2 yun ang ginagarantiya natin, yung pagkakataon na yun. But at the same time, I will have to hasten to add that there is also the right against self-incrimination. Meaning, if the accused or the respondent refuses to give a testimony, the Department of Justice nor the courts cannot compel
Yes, sir.
the person to give a testimony. So we will just evaluate the evidence and make the assessment on the basis of the existing evidence at hand.
In
And we are
short-
just assuring everyone that we will do this and resolve this case in the usual manner in a just and fair resolution.
In short, Yusek, pag sinampan nyo na yung kaso, ay gusto nyo siguraduhin na yung possibility ng conviction ay mataas kay Vice President. Kay Vice
Absolutely.
President.
Especially, I always say that we should treat everyone with the same manner. Everyone is equal in the eyes of the law. But we are being extra careful, particularly because the possible accused here is a high official of the land. And we accord it the same treatment as an ordinary person. We should have in our hands that quantum of evidence that we are sure that when this is filed in court, the judge appreciating the evidence, there is reasonable certainty that this will lead to a conviction, meaning proof beyond reasonable doubt.
Parang
Does
sure
that
ba
mean, Yusek, na medyo tatagal yung preparasyon dahil sa ganyang klaseng
No.
preparasyon na gusto nyo?
No, not really. Not really. As you know, the investigation has commenced months ago, and the proper authentication of videos, securing the affidavits of witnesses has been completed by the NBI. But it is the first time that the DOJ will be able to have a chance to review this evidence, and this will be reviewed by a panel of prosecutors under the National Prosecution Service that will be constituted. And there is a normal period of 60 days, and for complex cases, 90 days to resolve the matter under preliminary investigation. So we will see. But at the end of the day, what we are assuring everyone is that we will look into both incriminating evidence and exculpatory evidence, meaning facts and circumstances that may possibly lead to the conclusion that there is no criminal case and the complaint should be dismissed. That is the mandate. We do justice to everyone. We weigh the evidence, and if the incriminating evidence is there, we will file the case without fear nor favor. But if there is exculpatory evidence that warrants the dismissal of the case, we will do so as well. So we will wait for this evidence to be joined after the Vice President submits her counter affidavit.
Yusek, we talked to NBI Director Jimmy Santiago yesterday,
Yes.
no? Tinatanong namin siya, what will happen? Kasi we know that the Vice President is not immune from criminal prosecution, nor sitting. Pero pag na-convict siya, ano yung mangyayari sa kanya? She can go to prison, but she cannot be ousted as Vice President. Ganun ba yun? Kasi sa
Yeah.
Constitution natin, you can
Yes.
only be ousted as Vice President by impeachment. Pero can she go to prison?
Yeah, let me explain that. It's very clear under the Constitution that there are particular government officials that we refer to as impeachable officers, and that includes the President and the Vice President. So presently, the Vice President is already subject to an impeachment case. So that is a separate matter. Impeachments, the import or the purpose of impeachment is to remove such high-ranking official from that particular government post. The object of a criminal case is to exact criminal accountability for acts. So after due process, if this matter elevates into an actual case in court, there will be a trial. And if the judge finds proof beyond reasonable doubt for the crimes of grave threats or inciting to sedition or any other crime that the evidence may support, he or she, the judge, will render a judgment of conviction and render a penalty of imprisonment. And that will have to be satisfied, that will have to be implemented but such implementation of imprisonment cannot amount to her removal from public office. And if I may further explain, this is very important. Apart from the penalty of imprisonment, there is possibly an accessory penalty that can include disqualification from public office. But that accessory penalty, hypothetically, if it is imposed, cannot be implemented to oust the Vice President from her present position, because that is now a circumvention of the constitutional requirement of impeachment as the only mode by which you can remove the impeachable officers, President and Vice President. However, in the same breath, you have to add that this disqualification may be given application in the future.
For
Not
future,
in the present situation,
positions.
but in the future. If she intends to file her candidacy for a different public position at a future time.
Bailable offense to, di ba, Yusek?
Yes, that is correct. Both for grave threats and inciting to sedition, these are both bailable offenses. And even our reform program will allow bail to be readily posted, especially for accused who have special circumstances or are indigent. Kasama po yan sa programa natin ng jail decongestion to afford bail because the constitutional presumption of innocence always applies.
Sir, question from a non-lawyer. Kasi yung kaso ng grave threat against the VP is based on that video, that video online press conference that she had nung November. Given that that is the basis for everything dun sa grave threat case, ano pang kailangan na ebidensya to decide whether or not there is sufficient evidence to say na you have a probability of conviction or certainty of conviction?
Well, first, let me say that it is not for me to make an evaluation. It is not within my power, my jurisdiction, to make that evaluation or appreciation, and that is done by the National Prosecution
NPS.
Service, a separate entity within the Department of Justice, and where a panel, investigating prosecutor panel, will have yet to be constituted. What I can only say is that there are technicalities in the presentation of evidence. Even if you have the right testimony, if you have the right object evidence, you need to make sure that it is presented in the right manner, the authentication is established beyond question, and many other things. And there are technical aspects. That's why this has to be threshed out by the panel, not by this representation.
Yes, sir.
But what we are only assuring is that we will accord fairness and justice in the resolution of this matter.
Yes, sir. Sir, as far as
Yung yung permanent disqualification, it has to be final, ano? Kasi theoretically, kung makonvict si VP at Vice President pa rin siya, she will go to prison but she will continue discharging the function of the Vice President unless ma-impeach siya, no? Pero kung disqualified siya, it has to be final, no? Meaning there will be a final ruling from the Supreme Court bago siya mapigilan. Of course, I'm talking about 2028, no? Dahil sinabi niya, she is seriously considering running for president in 2028. Kung wala pang final ruling ng conviction, kung sakasakali lang naman, she can still run in 2028 kahit ma-convict siya.
Well, I should say, again, yung presumption of innocence is there. A decision
Yes.
on the main case itself is not final because there are remedies available to the accused on appeal, even on the imprisonment side, and not only on the accessory penalty. And it only becomes final if the decision is not appealed or when the Supreme Court finally renders a judgment that makes it final. So you are correct. We have to wait for the finality before that disqualification is finally given effect.
Yusek, pinag-aaralan ba ng DOJ ang iba pang mga kaso na pwedeng isampa kay Vice President Sara Duterte? Halimbawa, in relation to sa intelligence at confidential fund na posibleng non-bailable dahil above 50 million yon sa limit ng plunder. May mga ganun pa bang ibang kaso na pinag-aaralan ang DOJ?
Well, presently, the matter at hand is the evaluation of the submission of the NBI with respect to the utterances, the threats against the President, the First Lady, and the Speaker of the House. However, we are also in receipt of the Quadcom's report, the recommendation of the Quadcom, and that is still under evaluation, and that's not yet ripe for discussion at the moment. But we are just confirming that part of the submissions of the Quadcom, the Congress submitted to the DOJ, are matters referring to the confidential fund and other matters taken up during the Quadcom hearings.
At yung Quadcom, Yusek, ay involved din si ex-President Tigong. Hindi lang si Vice President Sara.
I think he was also asked to testify before the Quadcom, and those testimonies are with the DOJ presently. But we're not focusing on that at the moment because they are still going through the records on the initial evaluation.
Okay. Sir,
Yusek, yung investigation niya, it can be subpoenaed by the impeachment court kung sakasakaling ma-constitute. Pwede ba? Or they can request siguro?
Or which records? The
Yung sa,
Quadcom
dito
records?
sa, yeah, oo. No, yung mga, itong may impact ba itong
Investigation
investigation on grave threats and inciting to sedition? Kasi it's in the articles of impeachment also yung grave threats. Can they
Yes.
coordinate with you for your record? Or bahala na sila sa
Absolutely.
kanilang ano?
Yes, absolutely. The National Bureau of Investigation is a professional investigative body that serves the public. So it can be subpoenaed to present its evidence before the impeachment court. It will have to prove the manner by which it has authenticated the video, and that can form part of the proceedings before the impeachment court. But that is separate and distinct from the proceedings on the criminal case, where they will also need to testify. Yes.
okay. Maraming salamat for joining StarCon this afternoon, Justice Undersecretary Jesse Andres. Salamat, sir.
Thank you. Good
Maraming
afternoon.
salamat,
Thank you,
Yusek.
Yusek.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for joining StarCon today. Ami Pamintuan, and congratulations again to the Philippine Star. At
Thank you.
naway
Ay,
dumating na agad ang ating pansit.
walang congratulations kung walang...
Babawiin natin.
Kung walang...
Pansit,
walang
oo.
pansit.
Oo.
Walang pansit at saka lechon.
OPM yun, promise me.
Aming binabawi ang aming
Meeting na ako.
pagbati sa iyong ano.
Congratulations. Upon kwan yun.
Thank you.
Conditional kwan yun
Conditional
eh.
yun.
Parang conditional threat, no? Conditional congratulations.
Sige.
Talaga na isingit ko eh. Okay. Maraming salamat, Ami. At maraming salamat sa ating magaling mong kondisyon, si Tito Rol Llamas, ang ating resident political pundit. Okay, join us again tomorrow. Biyernes sa bukas, ha? At 4 p.m. for the StoryCon. I'm Ed Linga. We are one news all sides all the time.
Hindi lang Biyernes, Valentine.
Valentine's.
Valentine.
Nakalimutan mo na.
Valentine.
Talaga, wala ka pang rosas para sa asawa mo.
Patay tayo.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.